Alright, welcome to today's video. We're going to look at a house in South Jordan, Utah today. And this house caught my eye. It's a really nice house, 6 bedroom, 5 baths, so big house, looks pretty nice. And the thing that caught my eye was this right here, price cut as of about a month ago of $150,000. So that seems like a huge price cut, right? So it went from 1.25 million to 1.1 million for the asking price. But I wanted to look at the numbers and see if that's actually a good deal or not. All right, and to do that, we're going to look at some numbers, what we can find on Zillow. And this is just an estimate, I'm not saying that this is spot on, that this is what the price should be. But this is more or less just my estimate. If I was looking at this house, these are the numbers I would run, and then be very upset when I realized they're asking for way too much money. All right, so I'm gonna come look at the price history here. And when I looked at this, it looked like it was last sold in 2013. Didn't have a selling price, so I'm just going to use this price as $499,900. It's probably actually less than that when they bought it in 2013, but got to use the numbers we can find, so we're going to use that as our starting price. Okay, and it's a pretty simple estimation that we can do. And come into Excel. Got our starting home price, $499,900. The current asking price is $1.1 million. It's an increase of $600,000, right? So 2015 it was about 10 years ago, so I'm going to use that for my average inflation rate. So for the past 10 years, on average, the inflation rate has been 2.5% per year. All right, so if you use that to estimate, because historically, home prices have more or less gone up with the inflation rate on a national scale. Obviously, these are averages. Once again, I'm not saying that this applies to a specific area, because real estate's really location specific, but just a general estimate. Housing prices have gone up with the rate of inflation. So if we use the 2.5%, and for the last 10 years, that home price should have gone up from just under $500,000 in 2015 to $641,000 in 2025. That's more or less what you would have expected historically. And as you can see, right now they're asking 1.1, so that's a difference of almost $460,000. So in my opinion, and price of a home is the price someone's willing to pay for it, so my opinion doesn't mean a damn thing, but in my opinion, this house is overpriced by $460,000. And maybe they did some remodeling and some upgrades to the house, so it might even, you could argue it's worth more than that 641, assuming they did do some upgrades to the house. But even then, let's say they did $100,000 worth of remodeling. Okay, so it's overpriced by $360,000. Still way overpriced, and that is after they reduced the price by $150,000 last month. So, yeah, and it's interesting too. Some other things to think about, and I'll probably repeat this in most of my videos, is the, and let me know if you disagree. Leave a comment if you have a different opinion on this. But what I've always heard and read is, for the most part, to make a good financial decision on a house in most areas. You know, there's some exceptions, and maybe you could argue that South Jordan, Utah is an exception. Definitely places like New York and San Francisco would be exceptions. But on average, you should not pay more than 3 times your annual salary for a house. Like that's how much you can afford a house. You take whatever you make as an annual salary, times it by 3, and that's your budget for a house. All right, so in Salt Lake County, the median household income is just under $95,000. Let's just make it an even $100,000. So I'd argue that the median household in Utah should not be paying more than $300,000 for a house. Maybe slightly more than that, but in the $300,000 ballpark. If we look at the average home, you know, where we're looking at in South Jordan, the average home, the median home price, $630,000. So you'd pay 6x, a little over 6x, the median household income for the median home in Utah. Plain and simple, way overpriced. Prices need to come down by about 50%. The median home price should be around $330,000 in South Jordan for housing to be affordable. So, you know, on this house here, you know, I'm not saying it's not the average house. It's a big house. It's a nice house, you know. But still, so this house should be, yeah, in that $700,000 range, not 1.1, 1.2. So, you know, if you're looking at this house, offer them $650,000, something like that. That's my opinion anyways, if you ask me. All right. So that's the video for today, and we'll talk to you next time. All right. See ya.